Hi, I'm Mark Allen Hill, salesman, inventor, software developer, and author of the new book, Phone Busking: How the Sound of Your Voice Determines Your Success While Telephone Cold Calling. What is phone busking? Well, I coined the term after noticing street buskers trying to get the attention of strangers on the street so they would stop and listen to their music, and I thought about how similar that was to what you and I do. You know, when we pick up the phone to make a cold call, we really want strangers on the phone to stop for a minute and listen to our telephonic performances. And if they like what they hear, then our reward isn't a dollar thrown in a hat. It's an appointment, a quote, or even a sale. And we actually play an instrument too, a musical instrument, our voices. Take a look at this typical cold call.
We begin by introducing ourselves, ask a few questions, and then tell our prospects what features and benefits we have to offer them. Finally, we come to the close of the cold call when we ask for the appointment, quote, demo, or sale. The point in the call, though, that affects the probability of a positive outcome more than any other is not the close. It's not the persuasive message, certainly not the questions. It is, in fact, the introduction. According to research, the first few seconds of your telephone cold call is when most prospects decide whether to listen to the salesperson or not.
So are your prospects deciding whether or not they're going to listen to you based on your name? Because that's really what you're giving them during the introduction. Of course not. It's based largely on the sound of your voice. You know as well as I do that psychology plays an enormous role in the entire sales process. So what psychological effect does your voice have on your prospect during those initial few seconds of your telephone cold call? Well, I set out to find the answer.
Perhaps one of the most important studies I found was written just a few years ago by a group of sociologists from Princeton and Lawrence universities. It suggests that when people meet for the very first time, whether it's in person or on the phone, they immediately assign levels of warmth and competence to the other person based on preconceived stereotypes, and then respond to that person based on those assigned levels of warmth and competence. If you're perceived to be warm but not competent, you're pitied. If you're perceived to be competent but not warm, you're envied. And if you are perceived to have neither warmth nor competence, you're shown contempt. People, however, that are perceived to be both warm and competent are admired, and that is certainly your target goal during cold calls. But that's just the beginning. In order to significantly increase your positive response rate while cold calling, your perceived warmth and competence needs to be at the very top right-hand corner of the chart.
Okay, let me stop here for a minute. You know where your target destination is on the chart, but do you have any idea where you're starting from? I mean, you have to have that information if you want to move in the right direction toward the target. Well, fortunately, there are many scientific studies that can help us understand how our prospects initially perceive us based on the sound of our voices.
If you're a young female, you'll probably be perceived as very warm with low competence. Young men and mature women are perceived to be more competent but less warm, and mature men are perceived as competent but cold. These are based solely on stereotypes, and your prospects assign these values within just a second or two after hearing your voice. Let me give you an example. Here are two women introducing themselves. I want you to ask yourself, which one is younger and which one sounds more competent?
Hello, Stacy.
Hi, how are you doing?
It's amazing how much information is contained in just a single second of a person's voice. So now we have a good idea where our initial starting point is on the chart, but how do we get from there to a high perceived level of warmth and competence? Well, different features in our voices will increase our perceived warmth, while others increase our perceived competence. So each individual must use just the right proportions of those focal features at just the right time to achieve the desired goal. But when you do, a new phenomena takes over. Established in the 1920s by psychologist Edward Thorndike, the halo effect is a powerful psychological effect that can help you solidify a relationship with your prospect, and it is the ultimate goal.
So you may have been under the impression that if you just say the right things, you'll be successful. But the truth is, your words only tell people what you think. Your voice tells them who you are, and that's really what they care about in sales. Well, to find out more, read my book, Phone Busking. And when you purchase my book, you'll get access to the full version of my one-to-one presenter software program. Absolutely the most powerful B2B sales communication tool there is. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Take care.